how do you start researching about a B school? What are all the aspects do you take into consideration? Okay, and then where all do you find the sources for understanding more about the B schools? So we started with looking at what we called as selection criteria or factors or parameters, right? For you to do. So then we looked at it in two ways. We looked at, like, as an applicant, what are all the parameters you will take into consideration when you want to apply to a school? Okay, so we looked at things which are quantitative in nature, fairly simple: region, location, cost, etc., etc., or what we call as more discrete parameters, right? So because these are factual parameters, these are discrete. See, region is, you may say region is quantitative, how, like, but I mean it's a discrete parameter, right? Because it is like, you're either going to apply to UK or you're not going to apply to UK. Simple as that. Duration is like 1 year course or 2 year course or 1.5 year course or something. It's a fixed number. Class size is either 100 or 150 or this one number again, right? And location of school, again, what we mean is it's discrete quantity. So it's not necessarily quantitative in nature, but it's more discrete, right? So all these factors, they come into play, and it's very easy. Employment trends, what do I mean? Average salary of somebody. Type of MBA, it is like whether you're going for online or offline, right? You will be very clear about what it is. When I say offline, I mean like the full time on campus and so on. So these are all the factors which are easy to find out, because these are all facts. Okay, either you like the US or you don't like the US, like that. And then comes some more tougher parameters, which are the qualitative parameters. Because it requires a lot of subjective assessment. Because you might say, you know what, Kritika, culture of school in Ross is much better than the culture of school in, say, HEC Paris. Okay, and you might be right from your perspective. Okay, but then I could refute that and I can say the other way around, and I can also be right, based on certain other subjective assessment. Okay, so keeping these things in mind, that is why what we have is, like, we divide the different factors and which the applicant has to take into consideration, and then look at, what's needed. And then, of course, there are factors for the B school which the B school takes into account and evaluates you accordingly. I know that most of you guys were MIM, so you may not have like a lot of work experience, and but you do have internship experience. Most of you, you will also have interned with some of the top companies and so on, and many of you might be also having like 1 year of this one and so on, right? So the factors for the B school again fall into two buckets: quantitative bucket as well as qualitative. Quantitative is very easy. Again, I know a GMAT score within a certain range where it lies. What is the quant? What is the verbal? It is very clear. Work experience number, very clear. Okay, but then what's not so clear? Quality of work experience. How much have you created impact in wherever you were? Okay, you could have done a research project for your college. How much have you created that impact there? All right. So things like those also are considerations which are present. Yeah. Now comes the other tougher part, which are the essays. How do you like give a number to an essay? Of course, you can, you have some evaluation criteria and then blah blah and so on. Again, how do you interviews are at the end of the day more subjective assessment of somebody. Okay, so those are all the qualitative parameters which actually weigh in a lot for someone. Okay, so for example, the way that you communicate your goals, and you're talking about your probably the projects that you've done in the past in an interview, has like a good weightage, like similar weightage, if not the same weightage as GPA that you got in your college, or a GMAT score that you got, or a GRE score that you got. Okay, so those are things like that. And so this is what we looked at in the last one.